Have you ever felt a profound truth stirring within you? A whisper from your soul that the world's most common advice is not only wrong, but dangerously incomplete. They told you that the deadliest strategy is to smile like a friend while thinking like a threat. And if that sentence, that powerful dichotomy, sends a shiver of recognition down your spine, then you have found your tribe. You are in the right place, at the right time. This is not a message for the faint of heart, or for those content with surface-level platitudes. This is a deep dive into the sacred art of spiritual warfare, a masterclass in navigating the complex energies of a world that preaches kindness but rewards cunning. If you feel this resonance, this deep, soul-level yes, then acknowledge this connection. Let the universe know you are listening by liking this video, subscribing to this channel for more truths that liberate, and share your own journey in the comments. Many of you have walked this path alone, feeling isolated in your perceptions. Type, "I am not alone," to connect with the silent army of souls who are also awakening to this higher understanding. They taught you to act with an open heart, to be kind, to always remain humble, to consistently be the bigger person in every conflict, to turn the other cheek until your face is bruised and your spirit is weary. They handed you a shield of virtue but never taught you how to wield the sword of discernment. But let me ask you, and be brutally honest with your own soul, when has this unblemished kindness, this relentless humility, ever truly stopped a calculated betrayal? When has simply being good ever erected a fortress around your heart, protecting you from someone who saw your openness not as a gift, but as a gaping vulnerability, an unguarded entry point to cut you clean in half? They teach you to expose the deepest chambers of your soul, to lay bare your dreams and your fears upon the altar of connection, but they conveniently omit the most crucial lesson: how to defend that sacred inner sanctum. You shared your pain, hoping for empathy, and instead, you found that your sorrow became their sustenance, your tears a delicacy for their insatiable egos. They fed off the very essence of your struggle, growing stronger as you grew weaker. You confessed your most cherished dreams, your highest aspirations, with the pure, unshielded trust of a child, and in return, you heard the faint echo of their laughter behind your back, the whispers that dismissed your vision and belittled your ambition. Do you understand now? This is not a weakness on your part. No, never believe that your capacity for trust is a flaw. It is, however, a sacred power that has been tragically misplaced. It is a divine currency spent on those who are spiritually bankrupt. You must awaken to the reality that you are not navigating a serene garden of saints and angels. You are moving through a grand, intricate battlefield of masks, a sophisticated masquerade where intentions are veiled and agendas are hidden behind polite smiles and warm handshakes. And the ones who not only survive but truly thrive in this complex, energetic dance, they are the masters of this sacred duality. They smile with a grace that can disarm armies, their eyes radiating a warmth that invites trust. But behind that disarming facade, they carry the sharp, cold steel of awareness. They carry knives of calculation, not for unprovoked aggression, but for the swift and decisive protection of their spirit. They have mastered the divine art of acting with unwavering friendliness, while thinking with the cold, clear, and unyielding precision of a ruthless strategist. This is the path of the spiritual warrior, a path that demands both a compassionate heart and an unconquerable mind. They told you to be kind, to stay humble, to always be the bigger person. But tell me, when has that ever stopped betrayal? When has being good ever protected you from someone using your openness to cut you clean in half? They teach you to expose your soul, but never teach you how to defend it. You shared your pain and they fed off it. You confessed your dreams and they laughed behind your back. That's not weakness, that's misplaced trust. You are not in a world of saints. You are in a battlefield of masks. And the ones who survive, they smile with grace but carry knives behind their backs. They know how to act friendly, but think ruthless. Niccolo Machiavelli said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." That's your edge. You don't need to shout your power. You hide it behind calm eyes and silent calculation. The moment you reveal your full self, you've already lost leverage. People can't destroy what they can't define. You want real strength, then move in mystery. Speak kindly, but never explain. Listen deeply, but never disclose. You think being honest makes you real, but in this world, being too real makes you a target. They will study you, not to understand, but to weaken. They will smile in your face while quietly adjusting the blade. So, what's the rule? Be warm, be helpful, but never obvious. They can feel your charm, but they should never touch your truth. Because when you speak less, they assume more, and in that confusion, you gain control. The most dangerous man in the room is not the loud one, it's the quiet one. The one who knows more than he says, sees more than he reveals, and plays nice until he doesn't. This understanding is your first step towards reclaiming your power. It is the awakening from the slumber of naivete into the sharp, clear light of spiritual sovereignty. The world has taught you a lullaby of compliance, a gentle song that encourages you to lower your defenses and offer your essence freely. But the universe is now sounding a different note, a resonant hum of empowerment that calls you to rise. It asks you to honor your innate kindness, but to sheathe it in wisdom. It implores you to maintain your humility, but to ground it in unshakable self-worth. This is not about becoming cynical or jaded. It is about becoming discerning. It's about developing a spiritual intelligence so acute that you can sense the energetic signature of a person long before they speak a single word. It's about understanding that your energy, your dreams, your very life force are sacred resources. They are not to be distributed like pamphlets on a street corner, available to any casual passerby. No, they are treasures to be shared only with those who have proven they understand their value. Those who have demonstrated through their own actions that they are guardians, not plunderers, of the sacred. The pain of past betrayals is not a scar to be hidden in shame. It is a sacred text, a map etched onto your soul that shows you where the dragons lie. Read it, study it, learn its geography. Every moment of pain was a lesson from a master teacher, and the curriculum was on the nature of power, trust, and deception. The tuition was your heartbreak, but the graduation is your awakening. You are learning to see beyond the mask, to hear the truth beneath the words, to feel the intention behind the action. You are becoming a master of perception, and in this world, perception is the ultimate power. So let them underestimate you. Let them see your smile and assume it means submission. Let them witness your calm and mistake it for passivity. While they are busy reading the cover of your book, you are authoring entire chapters in silence, chapters they will never be privy to until the moment you decide to turn the page. And when you do, the story will be entirely your own. Your journey from this point forward is one of integration. It is about holding two seemingly opposite truths in perfect, harmonious balance. The warmth of an open, loving spirit and the cool, calculated mind of a sovereign being who will not be trespassed against. It is the dance of the dove and the serpent, the wisdom of being gentle in your approach, but lethal in your defense. This is not a contradiction. This is the very definition of wholeness. It is the spiritual alchemy that transforms a victim into a victor, a pawn into a king or queen. Embrace this duality, for it is the source of a power so profound, so unshakable, that it need not be announced. It is simply felt by all who enter your presence. They may not understand it, they may not be able to name it, but they will respect it. And that, my friend, is the beginning of true freedom. Your new path requires a radical shift in how you view social and energetic exchanges. You must begin to see every interaction not as a simple conversation, but as a potential chess match. This does not mean you must be paranoid, but it does mean you must be present, aware, and strategic. The average person drifts through conversations on autopilot, spilling their thoughts and feelings like a leaky faucet, desperate for the validation of being heard. You, however, are learning a different way. You are learning to be the silent observer, the calm center in the storm of chatter. You are the one who listens with an intensity that others mistake for passive agreement. But in reality, you are gathering data. You are analyzing patterns, identifying motivations, and mapping the emotional landscape of the room. You are listening for what is, not, said just as much as what is. You are watching for the flicker in the eye, the slight hesitation before a lie, the subtle shift in energy when a sensitive topic is broached. While they are performing, You are perceiving. While they are talking, you are learning. This is a profound shift in power dynamics. The person who controls the flow of information controls the entire interaction. For too long, you have been the one providing all the information, offering up your vulnerabilities, your desires, and your plans, while receiving very little in return. You have been an open book for others to read, analyze, and ultimately to use against you. Now, you must become a locked library. You grant access only to a select few, and even then, only to specific sections. Your innermost thoughts, your grandest plans, your deepest wounds, these are kept in the most sacred, restricted archive of your being. To the outside world, you offer courtesy, warmth, and engaging conversation, but you reveal nothing of strategic value. You must understand this critical principle. Mystery is a form of power. When people cannot fully understand you, when they cannot place you in a neat and predictable box, they become cautious. Their assumptions about you are based on incomplete data, and this forces them to project their own fears and hopes onto you. This is an advantage. Their confusion becomes your clarity. Their uncertainty becomes your strength. You let them build a version of you in their own minds, a version you can strategically influence but never fully confirm. This makes you an unpredictable player, and in any game of power, the unpredictable player holds a significant edge. Think of yourself as a deep, calm lake. On the surface, you are placid, reflective, and serene. People can see their own reflection in your calm demeanor. But beneath that surface, in the depths, there are powerful currents and a hidden world they can never access. They only know the surface, and they make their judgments based on that limited view. This is how you move through the world with grace and power. You maintain your inner peace, your deep core of strength, while presenting a face to the world that is approachable and non-threatening. You are learning to separate your true self from the persona you project. This is not inauthentic. It is strategically intelligent. It is the armor of the enlightened warrior, a shield forged not of anger or aggression, but of wisdom, silence, and profound self-possession. Every word you save is a piece of power you retain. Every secret you keep is a fortress wall you build around your soul. Every time you choose to observe rather than react, you shift the balance of power in your favor. Let the world be loud. Let others clamor for attention and validation. You will find your strength in the quiet spaces, in the unspoken truths, in the calm, unshakable certainty of a mind that sees all but reveals only what is necessary. This is the art of thinking ruthlessly, and it is a skill that will serve you for the rest of your life. Your smile is a shield, not an act of surrender. You must internalize this truth until it becomes a part of your very essence. Society has weaponized the smile against the pure of heart. It has taught you that to smile is to be agreeable, to be open, to be liked. You are encouraged to offer your warmth freely, to use your smile to build bridges and make friends. But this is a novice-level understanding of a master-level tool. If you are not careful, if you are not conscious and strategic, that smile, the very symbol of your good nature, becomes a glaring weakness, not a calculated strategy. In a world teeming with wolves cloaked in the soft wool of sheep, your unthinking friendliness can be tragically mistaken for softness, for a lack of boundaries, for an invitation to be consumed. And that perceived softness, that unguarded warmth, becomes a scent on the wind, a trail that predators will follow with unerring instinct, leading them directly to the heart of your most vulnerable self. The truth, the deeper spiritual reality, is that your smile should never, ever be your surrender. It should be your most sophisticated disguise. It should be the masterfully crafted mask that keeps the world calm, at ease, and thoroughly disarmed in your presence, all while your mind, sharp and silent, stays in a state of constant, calm calculation. A genuine, warm smile is a powerful tool of social influence. It makes people drop their guard. It lowers their defenses and bypasses their critical thinking. When you smile, you signal safety and trust. People relax. They open up. And when their guard drops, when their critical faculties are soothed by your apparent warmth, you gain a profound advantage. You are able to see past their own masks, to observe their true nature. to gather the information you need to navigate the situation with wisdom and foresight. Niccolo Machiavelli, a master of understanding human nature, did not fear charm. He recognized its immense power and sought to weaponize it. He understood that the appearance of virtue was often more powerful and more influential in the world of men than the quiet, internal reality of virtue itself. He believed that projecting an image of benevolence, mercy, and friendship was a far more effective strategy for gaining power and influence than displaying overt strength or aggression. So when you smile, it is not to be harmless. It is a strategic act designed to maintain control of the social dynamic. It is to make them underestimate the depth of your perception and the strength of your will. It is to lull them into a state of comfort, making them believe you are a predictable, open-hearted soul, all while you are observing, analyzing, and planning your next move with the precision of a grandmaster at a chessboard. You don't need to scowl to be dangerous. You don't need to shout to be respected. The truly feared individual is the quiet one, the one who moves through a room with a gentle smile and an easy grace, the one who speaks with poise and listens with an unnerving intensity. This is the person who moves with the quiet grace of a predator, their true power hidden behind a veil of calm. This is the person whose smile hides cold steel, whose kindness is a calculated strategy, and whose silence is more intimidating than any threat. The quiet man who speaks with an economy of words, who moves with deliberate grace, and who smiles with a calm, unreadable poise, all while hiding the cold, hard steel of his resolve behind his eyes, is far more feared and respected than the loud, boisterous man who tries far too hard to seem tough and intimidating. One is a performance of power, the other is the embodiment of it. You must understand the fundamental difference. Friendly men get access, while angry men get resistance. If you act with calculated kindness, people will willingly open their doors to you. They will unlock their minds. They will reveal their thoughts, their habits, their weaknesses, and their desires. They will hand you the very information you need to win, to influence, to succeed, often without conflict, without a single battle being fought. This is not a dark form of manipulation. It is the highest form of strategic intelligence. Let other people waste their precious life force, their finite energy, on proving how hard, how tough, how intimidating they are. Let them puff out their chests and roar. You, on the other hand, will remain smooth, calculated, and impeccably clean in your approach. Your friendliness is not for the purpose of bonding. It is for the purpose of scanning, of gathering data, of understanding the terrain. Your politeness is not a plea for their approval. It is a tool for strategic positioning. Every time you enter a room, every time you engage in a conversation, you must act like the most pleasant, most agreeable man alive. Put them at ease, make them relax. Encourage them to talk, to share, to reveal. Make them think, with absolute certainty, that you are a safe harbor, a trusted confidant. But behind that warm, inviting smile, your mind is a fortress. You are observing every move they make, every word they choose, every glance they steal. You are noting every weakness they accidentally reveal, every insecurity they project, every desire they confess. For once they feel completely comfortable in your presence, once they believe they have you figured out, they become careless. Their guard drops. And when people get careless, they expose the very things they would normally guard with their lives. That is the moment your real game begins. A game played not with noise and fury, but with the silent, surgical application of knowledge. A victory won not through reaction, but through profound and unwavering restraint. You are learning to let others defeat themselves, to let them walk into the traps they set with their own words and actions. And if someone, sensing your power, tries to test you, tries to provoke a reaction, you do not panic. You do not break character. You remain in absolute control. Because once they realize that you can stay utterly calm and composed even in the face of disrespect, they begin to truly fear what else you might be capable of. Friendliness is not a weakness if you are the one who chooses when and how to deploy it. Think of it as a blade of the finest steel, hidden within a sheath of the softest silk. It is smooth and pleasing to the touch, but it is deadly when drawn. You are not here in this life to be anyone's comfort zone, a place where they can dump their toxicity and feel better about themselves. You are here to master your own energy, to command your own reality. You are here to disarm them without ever having to fight. So remember this sacred principle. Smile often, speak warmly, and never, ever let them know that you are always 10 steps ahead. Act like you are listening with simple empathy, when in fact, you are studying their very soul. Act like you are soft and yielding, when in truth, your spirit is unshakable, forged in the fires of past trials. This is the essence of social warfare, and the smartest, most powerful soldiers wear no visible armor. They show no overt emotion, and they strike only when the outcome of the battle has already been decided in their favor, long before the first move was ever made. Your smile is your camouflage. Your warmth is your weapon. Use them wisely, and you will become a force that no one can predict, and therefore no one can defeat. This is the secret language of power, a language spoken not with the mouth, but with the eyes, with the posture, with the very frequency of your being. It is a language of subtlety, of nuance, of profound psychological depth. The common man believes power is about being the loudest voice in the room, about dominating the conversation, about making his presence known through force. But the master understands that true power is an invisible current, a silent force that shapes the environment without ever announcing its presence. Your journey now is to cultivate this silent power within yourself. It begins with the discipline of emotional control. It requires you to become a detached observer of your own internal state. You will still feel anger, you will still feel joy, you will still feel pain, but you will no longer be a slave to these fleeting states. You will not let them dictate your actions or reveal your strategy. Your face will become a placid mask, a calm sea that conceals the immense power of the ocean depths. Your voice will be measured, your tone even, your words chosen with the precision of a poet. You are removing all the hooks, all the triggers that others might use to pull you into their drama, to manipulate your reactions. When you are unreadable, you are in command. When your inner state is a fortress, your outer actions can be a masterful dance of influence. You will learn to be generous without being a fool, to be kind without being a target. You will offer help, but you will always be aware of the energetic transaction taking place. You will give, but you will never allow yourself to be drained. This is the practice of setting sacred boundaries, not with angry words or defensive walls, but with the quiet, unshakable certainty of your own self-worth. You will learn to say no with the same calm and grace with which you say yes, and in doing so, you will teach the world how to treat you. You are rewriting the rules of engagement, and you are doing it from a place of profound inner power, a power that is forged in silence, tempered by wisdom, and wielded with the subtle, disarming grace of a perfectly executed strategy. Information is ammunition. You must stop giving it away for free. Every word that leaves your lips is a piece of ammunition that can and will be used, either for you or, more often than not, against you. The sad, undeniable truth is that most people in this world are walking around carelessly handing out bullets to the very individuals who will one day aim a weapon at their heart. They call it opening up. They call it being vulnerable. They call it sharing. I call it leaving yourself wide open to attack. I call it strategic suicide. You think they are listening to understand you, to connect with you on a deeper level, but you must awaken to the harsh reality. Most are not. They are collecting. They are storing. They are taking meticulous mental notes of your every confession, your every fear, your every dream. They are cataloging your triggers, mapping your insecurities, and identifying your pressure points. And they will store this arsenal of information, waiting for the perfect moment to use it when you are weak, when you are succeeding and they are envious, or simply when you are no longer useful to them anymore. This, my friend, is the unspoken psychology of control, and most people never see it coming until the arrow is already in their back. Niccolo Machiavelli issued a stark warning that echoes through the centuries. He who reveals his intentions will always be vulnerable. Why? Because intentions give your rivals something to block, goals give your enemies something to sabotage, and emotions give manipulators a lever to pull whenever they want to gain control over you. This does not mean you must become a liar. Deception is a crude and low-vibrational tool. No, you must become a master of limitation, a connoisseur of selectivity. You don't speak to be understood by the masses. You speak to observe, to gather, to assess. The more they talk, and the less you reveal, the more power you accumulate. The more information they volunteer, and the less you expose, the more the scales of influence tip in your favor. This is the sacred equation of power. They want to know what drives you. They are desperate to understand what scares you. They are intensely curious about what you truly want. And the moment you give that information away, the moment you articulate your deepest desires, you give away control of the entire frame. You hand them the architectural blueprint to your inner operating system, and you must have no doubt that they will attempt to hack it. When people don't know your pressure points, they cannot press them. When they are unaware of your deepest fears, they cannot trigger them. And when they have no idea what your next move is, they have absolutely no power to stop you. It is this very mystery that makes you untouchable. You must evolve into the man of few words, but ensure that every word you do speak is a deep one, resonating with purpose and weight. You must learn to speak in principles, not in specific plans. Share your values, not your vulnerabilities. Respond to their provocations with unshakable calm, not with defensive confession. The more general and philosophical your words, the harder they are for anyone to twist, manipulate, or weaponize against you. Every time you tell someone your why, the deep emotional reason behind your ambition, you give them direct power over your motivation. Every time you explain your past, you give them a profound insight into what shaped you and, therefore, a roadmap on how to manipulate you in the present. You must keep it vague. You must keep it clean. You must keep it cold. The moment you feel that burning urge to explain yourself, to justify your actions, to make them understand your position, that is the moment you must pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself two critical questions. What piece of strategic information am I about to give away? And, more importantly, who am I giving it to? Has this person earned the right to access this level of my being? Because you must burn this truth into your mind. Not everyone who smiles at you has your peace in mind. Some are not interested in your peace. They are interested in your pieces. They want to dismantle you, to understand how you work, so they can use your parts for their own machine. So let them talk. Encourage them to share their stories, their plans, their feelings. Let them feel seen, heard, and understood by you. And all the while, you will remain a calm, unreadable enigma. That is how you become the mystery they can't figure out, and the force they can't control. That is the precise moment when respect, real, palpable respect, begins to shift irrevocably in your favor. This Machiavellian power is not loud, it is surgical. It is knowing precisely when to speak and, more powerfully, when to let your silence speak volumes. It's about keeping people endlessly curious but never, ever satisfied. It's about staying 10 steps ahead, not by running faster, but by saying less and watching more. So, you must stop explaining. You must stop confessing. You owe no one, absolutely no one, unrestricted access to your inner world. Your thoughts are your kingdom. Your plans are your sacred texts. You must guard them like a wise king who knows, without a doubt, that spies are everywhere, listening at every door, waiting for a single careless word to bring the entire empire to its knees. The discipline of withholding information is one of the most potent spiritual practices you can adopt. It is an act of profound self-love and self-preservation. It is you, as a sovereign being, declaring that your inner world is not a public square. It is a fortified temple, and you are its sole gatekeeper. This practice will feel unnatural at first, especially if you have been conditioned to believe that connection is built on total transparency. But you will soon discover a new kind of connection, one based not on shared vulnerability, but on mutual respect for strength and mystery. People will be drawn to your calm, to your centeredness, to the powerful aura of a person who is complete within himself and requires no external validation. They will sense your power not because you display it, but precisely because you don't. You will find that the less you need to say, the more your presence communicates. Your silence will begin to command rooms. Your carefully chosen words will land with the impact of thunder. This is because you are shifting from a paradigm of energetic expenditure to one of energetic conservation and strategic deployment. You are no longer leaking your power through idle chatter and emotional confessions. You are containing it, cultivating it, and building an immense reservoir of inner strength that you can draw upon when it truly matters. When a decision needs to be made, when a negotiation is at a critical juncture, when a crisis demands a clear and steady hand, you will be the one who acts with clarity and precision, while others are lost in the fog of their own emotional reactions and poorly guarded thoughts. Remember the wisdom of the ancient strategists. The river that runs deep is the one that runs silent. Let your inner world be that deep river. Let others splash around in the shallow, noisy streams of public opinion and social validation. You are cultivating a depth of being that is rare and immensely powerful. Guard your words as you would guard your life, because in the high-stakes game of this reality, they are one and the same. Let your silence be your greatest statement, and let your mystery be your most impenetrable shield. This is not about hiding who you are. It is about choosing, with supreme consciousness, who gets to experience the truth of your magnificent, powerful, and sacred being. This mastery over your own expression is the ultimate freedom, a freedom that no one can ever take from you. It is the freedom to be the author of your own story, the master of your own frame, and the silent, unshakable sovereign of your own magnificent kingdom. This is the true path to power. Control the frame, or you will be framed by it. You must understand that there is a force in this world far more subtle and far darker than simple manipulation. It is the art of framing. It is the ability to shape how others perceive you, how they interpret your actions, and how they define your reality, often before you even realize a game is being played. If you do not consciously and deliberately control the frame of every interaction, you can be certain that someone else will. And when they do, they will write your story for you, and you will be relegated to a mere side character in the drama of your own life. Most people are not living their own lives. They are living inside a version of themselves that has been created and framed by others. They allow their colleagues, their friends, their family, and society at large to define their tone, their intent, and even their strength. You say one sentence, and they twist it to fit their narrative. You make one move, and they immediately assign it a label that serves their agenda. If you are not proactively framing yourself first, you are already being reframed. The frame is the silent lens through which all information is filtered. It is the context that gives meaning to every action and every word. If you remain calm in a crisis, does that frame you as powerful, or does it frame you as passive and uncaring? If you are a private person, does that frame you as mysterious and intriguing, or does it frame you as weak and secretive? The master strategist does not leave the answer to these questions to chance. You decide the answer before anyone else has the opportunity to. You decide the answer by owning the frame of your own identity from the very start of any encounter. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this principle at its deepest level. He knew that perception is often stronger and more real in its consequences than objective truth. So, instead of endlessly chasing the approval of others, a futile and draining endeavor, you must learn to establish their interpretation of you from the outset. You don't just walk into a room. You consciously shape how the room reacts to you. You do this with your silence, with your posture, with the tone of your voice, and with the deliberate choice of your words. The man who truly controls the frame doesn't need to explain himself. He doesn't need to justify his actions. He lets others fill in the blanks, and they will almost always fill them with their own insecurities and assumptions, revealing far more about themselves than they do about him. He doesn't overreact when he is accused or challenged. He pauses, he watches, and then he calmly redirects the energy, often with a single, carefully chosen question. He doesn't beg to be understood. He speaks once, with quiet authority, and then lets the ensuing silence do the rest of the work. That is how you begin to dominate social dynamics without ever using force, without ever raising your voice. You must understand that framing isn't about telling lies. It's about architecture. It's about consciously building the structure of meaning around yourself. You decide what looks like power. You decide what looks like weakness, and you play your role on your terms, not theirs. People will constantly test you in an attempt to shift your frame, to pull you into their reality. They will use jokes to see if you laugh too easily, hoping to frame you as unserious. They will use subtle insults to see if you react emotionally, hoping to frame you as unstable. They will use compliments to see if you crave their validation, hoping to frame you as needy. Every one of your reactions, no matter how small, tells them who owns the narrative in that moment, you or them. You must therefore become unframeable. You must achieve a level of self-possession where their attempts to define you simply slide off your smooth, impenetrable surface. You respond only when you choose to respond, not when they expect you to. You don't chase their approval, and you certainly don't waste a single breath trying to clarify your worth to those who are determined to misunderstand you. You simply act, and you let them interpret. Your actions will be your statement, and your silence will be their confusion. But never, ever give them access to the real, raw calculation behind your actions. That is how power becomes invisible, yet profoundly felt. You must learn to never explain your silence. Instead, let it be intimidating. You must never justify your distance. Instead, let it be interpreted as a sign of immense power and self-sufficiency. Never try to correct their flawed assumptions about you. Let their own wrong guesses keep them off balance and uncertain. Remember, the game of life is not about fairness. It is about the dominance of perception. So, you must stop reacting, and you must stop defending. People are constantly creating frames to try and trap you inside them. Your sacred task is to create your own frame, one so strong, so authentic to your core self, that it is unbreakable. And then you must hold that frame with a godlike composure, especially when it is under attack. In the end, you are not just a man moving through the world. You are an idea in their minds. And the stronger, the colder, the more calculated that idea becomes in their perception, the harder it is for anyone, anywhere, to ever control you. That is how you become truly, sovereignly, untouchably free. The practice of controlling your frame is the highest form of mental and spiritual discipline. It is the conscious choice to be the cause, rather than the effect, in your own life. Most people are in a constant state of reaction. An email triggers them, a comment upsets them, someone's opinion sends them spiraling. Their inner peace is entirely dependent on external conditions, making them puppets whose strings are pulled by anyone and everyone they encounter. You are choosing a different path. You are choosing to be the puppeteer of your own reality. This begins with a radical commitment to self-awareness. You must observe your own tendencies. When do you feel the need to explain? When do you feel the sting of an insult? When do you feel the pull of needing to be liked? These are the moments when your frame is weakest, when others can most easily impose their reality onto you. In these moments, you must practice the art of the strategic pause. Instead of instantly reacting, you create a space. In that space, you observe the emotion, you acknowledge it, but you do not identify with it. You see it as energy passing through you, not as the definition of you. From this space of detached observation, you can then choose a response that serves your highest purpose, rather than one that serves your fleeting emotional state. This is the difference between a master and a novice. The novice reacts from the emotion of the moment. The master acts from the vision of his desired outcome. When someone insults you, the novice defends his ego, getting drawn into a pointless battle of words, effectively handing control over to the aggressor. The master, however, remains silent. He holds his ground. He might offer a calm, unbothered stare, or a subtle, knowing smile. This refusal to engage, this absolute control over his own emotional state, is the most powerful counterattack possible. It communicates that the insult has no power, that the attacker has no influence, that his frame is impenetrable. The attacker is left flailing in a vacuum, their own negative energy reflecting back upon them. This is psychological warfare at its most refined. Over time, people will learn that their usual tactics do not work on you. They will learn that you cannot be baited, that you cannot be provoked, that you cannot be emotionally manipulated. They will stop trying to provoke what they cannot predict. And in the absence of their attempts to control you, a space of genuine respect will emerge. They will respect you not because they like you, but because they recognize your strength. They recognize you as a sovereign entity, a force to be reckoned with, not a pawn to be played. This control is not something that happens overnight. It is a trained response, a muscle that you must build through daily practice. You must watch yourself like a sniper watching a target, observing your own breathing, your own posture, your own internal state. You are training yourself to maintain a low-pressure, steady state of being, regardless of the chaos unfolding around you. You never give away your internal state unless it is a conscious, strategic choice that serves your larger purpose. That is power, that is discipline, and that is how you earn a silent, unshakable respect without ever needing to speak a single word of self-promotion. Stop telling people how you feel. It is a currency you can no longer afford to spend so freely. Instead, start showing them who you are through your actions, through your restraint, and through your calm, deliberate decisions. Let them think you are unfazed, even if a fire of emotion is burning inside you, because when you can control your response, you own the room, you own the moment, you own your reality. Being unreadable is not about being fake or inauthentic. It is about being in absolute command of your tone, your timing, your energy. It makes you dangerous without saying a word. It makes you desirable without even trying. And most importantly, it makes you utterly and completely unbreakable. Kindness without boundaries is a weapon used against you. This is a truth that will liberate you, but it may sting at first, for it cuts against the very grain of your most noble instincts. Kindness that is offered without limits, without discernment, without a fierce and protective boundary, is not a noble virtue. It is a form of spiritual suicide. You think you are being generous. You believe you are acting from a place of love and compassion, but in the cold, hard calculus of human social dynamics, all they see is someone who is easy to bend, easy to manipulate, and easy to break. The world, in its raw and unfiltered state, does not respect unguarded, unconditional kindness. It consumes it. If you offer yourself to others without any edges, without any clear lines that say, this far and no further, they will keep cutting, and they will keep taking, until there is absolutely nothing left of you. In cold, Machiavellian terms, a man without boundaries is not a good man. He is an exposed man, and in the game of power, exposure is a fatal weakness. You are likely taught that kindness wins hearts, that generosity builds allies, and that a soft answer turns away wrath. And while there is a kernel of truth in these ideas, here is the part they never told you, the dangerous addendum to the rule. Limitless kindness also attracts manipulators, users, and emotional leeches with the irresistible pull of a super magnet. The people in this world who are most skilled at taking are also the most skilled at spotting those who give too freely. They often smile the brightest, speak the sweetest, and praise the loudest when they find someone who is too nice, too accommodating, to ever say no. And once they sense that you will not fight back for your own energy, for your own time, for your own soul, they will not just push your boundaries once. They will push further and further, endlessly, relentlessly, because they have learned that your weakness rewards their aggression. Niccolo Machiavelli warned us with chilling clarity about the nature of promises and obligations. He stated, in essence, that a promise given was merely a necessity of the past, but the word broken is often a necessity of the present. This is precisely what opportunistic people do with your kindness. They use it as a tool when they need you, when it serves their purpose, and then they break the unspoken contract of reciprocity and respect the moment it no longer serves them. You are not dealing with gratitude when you give to these people. You are dealing with cold, calculating opportunism. And your kindness, when it is offered without an equal measure of force and self-respect behind it, becomes a contract that they will happily and repeatedly violate. So what is the solution? Is it to become cold, cruel, and unkind? Absolutely not. That is the reaction of a novice, a swing of the pendulum from one extreme to another. The solution lies in mastering the art of strategic kindness. You must learn to give with purpose, not with guilt. You must learn to help, but you must also learn to keep a silent, mental score. You must learn to smile, But never, ever make yourself emotionally dependent on their reaction to your generosity. You can be generous without allowing yourself to be used. You can be warm without allowing yourself to be walked on. And you can learn to say no with the very same calm, centered, and unwavering power that you once used to say yes. You must understand that you are the one who sets the tone for how you are treated. Every single time you tolerate a boundary violation, no matter how small, you are teaching that person how to treat you. You are writing your own rule book of engagement, and they will be more than happy to follow the rules you set. And every time you bend for someone who you know, in your heart, would never bend for you, you are actively lowering your own value in their eyes, and in the eyes of the universe itself. People do not respect endless availability. They do not value what is offered too freely. They respect calibrated access. They value what must be earned, not what is simply assumed. So, you must start filtering. You must become a fierce guardian of your own energy. Who in your life truly deserves your time? Who has earned the right to your kindness? Who has proven, through their own consistent actions, that they are not just here to extract value from you, but to reciprocate it, to honor it, to give back? Because true Machiavellian power is not about cruelty. It is about profound, radical self-preservation. You don't cut people off out of hate or anger. You cut them off to stay sharp, to preserve your energy, to protect your mission. Your kindness must become a rare and precious resource, and that is precisely what will make it so incredibly powerful. Not everyone deserves your patience. Not everyone gets your effort. Some people, the ones who have proven themselves to be energetic drains or manipulators, will only ever understand the language of distance. They will only respect the strength of your silence and the cold, hard finality of you walking away without a shred of emotional turmoil. So be clear with yourself. When you establish a boundary, you are not turning cold, you are turning clean. You are no longer offering the sacred warmth of your fire to those who would only spit on it to extinguish your light. You are no longer breaking yourself into smaller and smaller pieces to keep others comfortable and whole. You are not a savior, you are a strategist. And the day you finally place a firm boundary and enforce it with the calm, unshakable certainty of a king defending his realm, that is the day you begin to truly transform. You don't need to yell. You don't need to justify. You don't need to explain your decision to a court of public opinion. You just decide. And that quiet, firm, internal decision will echo with more power, more authority, and more soul-shaking force than any outpouring of kindness ever could. This is the alchemy of power. You are not diminishing your kindness. You are refining it. You are turning a common stone into a priceless diamond. A diamond is beautiful. It refracts light in the most brilliant ways, but it is also the hardest substance known to man. This is what your kindness must become: radiant, precious, and utterly unbreakable. You will offer its light only to those who are worthy, to those who come with clean hands and an open heart. To all others, you will present only its hard, impenetrable, and perfectly cut edges. This selective generosity will not make you unloved. It will make you respected. It will not make you isolated. It will make you magnetic. People are drawn to those who value themselves, to those who operate from a place of self-possession and strength. By setting boundaries, you are not pushing people away. You are creating a sacred space around you that only allows for healthy, reciprocal, and empowering connections to enter. The manipulators and the users will fall away, repelled by the strength of your new frequency, while those who are truly aligned with your growth and well-being will be drawn even closer. Respecting and admiring the power you have claimed. This is not just a strategy for dealing with others. It is a profound act of love for yourself. It is the recognition that you are worthy of protection, that your energy is sacred, and that your peace is non-negotiable. It is the moment you stop seeking your value in the approval of others and start sourcing it from the infinite well of your own soul. And from that place of unshakable inner worth, your kindness will no longer be a liability. It will become your greatest and most powerful asset, a strategic tool wielded by a master who understands its true, precious, and unconquerable value. Be unreadable. This is the key to the power of emotional control. You must understand that people in this world do not fear the loud, the aggressive, or the ostentatious. They fear the unreadable. They fear the man who does not flinch when provoked. They fear the one whose facial expression remains perfectly calm, even when the room around him is consumed by fire and chaos. Why? Because when people cannot read your emotions, they cannot predict your actions. When they cannot predict your actions, they cannot control your reactions. And when they cannot control your reactions, they lose all power over you. Every time you wear your heart on your sleeve, every time you let your face betray your inner state, you make yourself predictable. You show the world what hurts you, what excites you, what pressures you, and in doing so, you hand them a detailed, psychological map of all your triggers. Machiavelli understood this with profound clarity. The less you reveal, the more you control. And in this complex game of human interaction, control is everything. Greater than you might think, showing emotion does not always make you authentic. In truth, in the wrong company, it makes you terrifyingly vulnerable. This vulnerability does not apply to everyone, of course, but it is a critical weakness when dealing with the wrong ones, the manipulators, the rivals, the energetic predators. These individuals thrive on predictability. They are experts at reading and exploiting the emotional states of others. They will test your mood. They will bait you with fake compliments or passive-aggressive attacks, not because they care about your response, but because they are probing, testing, searching for a reaction. They are looking for a crack in your armor. And the moment you react, the moment you give them that emotional data, they adjust their strategy accordingly, having found the very string they need to pull to make you dance. The most dangerous man is not the one who gets angry and shows it. It is the one who feels the same burning anger, the same visceral instinct, but chooses, with absolute self-possession, not to perform it. That level of internal discipline, that profound self-possession, is what makes people deeply uncomfortable, because now they are operating in the dark. They don't know if their words have affected you or if you are completely indifferent. They cannot calculate your next move because they have no data on your internal state. This is the essence of psychological warfare, and emotional neutrality is your most impenetrable shield. This is not about becoming numb or apathetic. It's about being unfazed. You still feel everything, perhaps more deeply than anyone else in the room. You simply do not broadcast it. You still care. You still have passions and convictions, but you do not confess them to an undeserving audience. Your face remains calm. Your tone remains flat. Your presence becomes unreadable. And that silence, that calm, unnerves them more than any shout ever could. When someone insults you, you don't defend. You just stare, calmly, without malice, letting them drown in the awkward silence they created. When someone tries to trigger you, you might offer a slight, almost imperceptible smile, say nothing, and let them be consumed by their own attempt to destabilize you. Your refusal to react becomes your most potent counterattack, and over time, a powerful shift occurs. People stop trying to provoke what they cannot predict. They learn that their games have no effect on you, and they will either retreat or begin to treat you with a newfound, cautious respect. This level of emotional control is not natural for most. It is a skill that must be trained. You must watch yourself like a sniper, constantly monitoring your own internal state. You must practice breathing low and steady, keeping the pressure of the moment from hijacking your nervous system. You must be disciplined, never giving away your internal state unless it serves a specific, calculated strategy. That is true power, that is true discipline, and that is how you earn a silent, unshakable respect without ever needing to utter a single word. So stop telling people how you feel. It is a strategic error of the highest order. Instead, start showing them who you are through your action, your restraint, and your calm, deliberate decisions. Let them believe you are unfazed. Let them think you are made of ice, even if a volcano is erupting within you. Because the moment you learn to control your response, you learn to own the room. You learn to own the moment. Being unreadable is not about being fake. It is about being in command. It's about being in command of your tone, your timing, and your energy. It is what makes you dangerous without saying a word. It is what makes you desirable without even trying. And most importantly, it is what makes you unbreakable. They will look at you and see a calm surface, but they will feel the immense, powerful depths you conceal. and that feeling will command more respect than any loud display of force ever could. In a world full of emotional chaos, you will be the eye of the storm, the silent, unmovable center around which everything else revolves. This is the ultimate position of power. It's a power that doesn't need to be taken, because it is freely given by all those who cannot comprehend the source of your unshakable calm. They will try to understand you, they will gossip about you, they will project all manner of theories onto you, but they will never truly know you. And in their not knowing, you will find your greatest freedom and your most formidable strength. You become the enigma, the puzzle they can't solve, and this elevates you above the petty squabbles and emotional games that trap ordinary men. Your emotional control becomes a source of immense attraction. People, both men and women, are subconsciously drawn to a centered and grounded presence. Your stability in the face of turmoil is a rare and valuable commodity. They will seek your counsel. They will desire your approval. They will want to be in your presence because you offer a sense of stability that they lack in themselves. But you will not be swayed by this attention. You will accept it with grace, but you will remain the master of your own frame. You will not allow their admiration to become a new source of validation that they can then use to control you. Your self-worth is sourced from within, not from their perception of you. This is a critical distinction. Your unreadability is not a performance for them. It is a discipline for you. It is a commitment to your own inner sovereignty. When you master your inner world, the outer world has no choice but to bend to your will, not through force, not through coercion, but through the irresistible influence of a man who has conquered himself. He does not need to conquer the world, because the world comes to him, seeking the peace, the strength, and the mystery that he so effortlessly embodies. This is your path. It is a path of silence, of observation, of profound self-control. It is the path of the true spiritual strategist, the man who wins the war without ever needing to declare it, the man whose power is so absolute because it is completely and utterly invisible. Let them be loud, you will be silent. Let them be emotional, you will be calm. Let them be predictable, you will be a mystery. And in that difference, you will find a power greater than you have ever imagined.